Sup, gang? Gather around. Okay. I just watched the finale of The Boys, and holy peak, was that good. It's just so awesome to watch all these shows that, allow me to broaden my horizons after Cobra Kai ended a year and a half ago, pretty much. It's, insane that I get to do that. And The Boys, it was a great show. I love how that and, like, Invincible, they all beat that modern superhero trope, and they just push the boundaries. That's kind of the vibe I like to go for the Masonverse, but in a different way, if that kind of makes sense. And speaking of the Masonverse, I have an update. So we're in the middle of filming Anton Part 2 right now, and I was planning to delay the movie just 2 weeks ahead to December 4th of 2026 instead of my original November 20th release date. But then I thought about it again, and I decided that I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep that November 20th release date because I want November to be that month dedicated to Anton. And since I love Marvel, and that means you know what is coming out the following month in December. During Christmas season, we're getting Avengers Doomsday, so I want to commit the entire month of December just for that, and have November be that penultimate month for Doomsday with Anton Part 2, which will set up my magnum opus. And my magnum opus is actually being overlapped with Part 2. And I confirmed that in the teaser that I released a few weeks ago, right there. And now, Somers Forever and Ever is overlapping with Anton Part 2. And that is the magnum opus for, that's the magnum opus for the Masonverse. It is probably going to be my biggest story yet with all these characters. Unfortunately, as much as it sucks, I can't make that a movie. I can't make it a movie. I can't. It's way too complicated. This is not even like my passion. I love doing this. It's a great hobby, but I love teaching. I love being a teacher. I want to be a teacher. I want to graduate college with a teaching degree, and I still want to focus on my running. This is a nice little hobby to have outside of it. That's hilarious because you want to know what we do? We don't even have a budget for this. We went into Anton with no budget. All we did was we spent no money making it, and we earned no money releasing it. It's all for funsies, and I'm very, very, very happy that I got to do that, and I got to set a peak for all the Masonverse fans out there, and for all the general audience too. Because my goal with this movie, I did say back in June of last year that it was a fresh start for the Masonverse. It is for the general audience. There's a lot of things that I didn't, there's a lot of things that I did leave out so the general audience can understand it better, what's in my crazy mind. So yeah, that's why I did that. Anton Part 2 is going to end in a way for if the general audience doesn't want to continue with the Masonverse, they don't have to, since I'm going to Google Drive now for forever and ever, since I literally just said I can't be a movie when I put all these insane real movie characters interacting with us, since I'm going all out with the multiverse, all out. So I can't get like all these characters together. That's total bullshit. So that's why Forever and Ever is going to be my magnum opus. That's the direct sequel to Anton Part 2. I mean, it picks up right where Part 2 leaves off. But Part 2 also leaves off with a sort of ending for the Masonverse where the general audience can stop if they don't want to continue, if that makes sense. So you got Forever and Ever, and then you have my last story after Forever and Ever, Somers Happily Ever After. That story, Somers Happily Ever After, is going to conclude what I call my Mainstream Hexalogy. So 6 stories. And you're probably asking, like, what is the first and the second story? You might have thought that was Anton. Anton is not the first and the second story. I actually started you in the middle of the story, like what Star Wars did with their original trilogy, their prequel trilogy, and then their sequel trilogy. That's how I treated it. So instead of 9 movies, there's 6 stories, 6 events, and 4 of them are stories, like scripts that I wrote instead, and 2 of them, if you count Anton Part 1 and 2 as 2 separate stories, that would be the only movie in the Hexalogy. And Anton Part 1 and Part 2, that's going to be my only feature-length film, my only Part 1, Part 2 story. I'm going to keep making Masonverse films to keep you fans happy. After I finish Happily Ever After and all that, so to make it, to keep you, to stay active, to keep my hobby going, to really make you happy. I may update you later with trying to get in short films, because I don't want to rush Happily Ever After. I don't want to rush it. I really want to have Happily Ever After be the longest, most emotional story I've ever written, to the point where it feels more than a movie. Your imagination is the greatest thing that we've ever been given, so take full advantage of using it when you read Forever and Ever and Happily Ever After. So that's my Mainstream Hexalogy. I'll tell you what the prequels are right now. I actually used to write them on a running app called Strava, and that is what got me so famous on my high school track team and throughout Section 1. And yeah, the story was called Somers' Secret Wars, and then the follow-up to that immediately was Somers Forever. Released that in 2023, and that leads up to the death of me, which is heavily explained and is what my character arc was all about, coming back from in Anton. So Secret Wars and Forever are the prequels. They're like the prequel trilogy, and they were on Strava. Now they're on Google Drive. Original trilogy, picture it in your mind, Anton and Anton Part 2, the only movie in the Hexalogy. Now we go back to the Google Drive. We go back to the Google Drive for the 2 last sequels. Somers Forever and Ever, which overlaps with Anton Part 2, and then Somers Happily Ever After, which is my most emotional finale ever. Ever. And that's going to end my Hexalogy. The other future Masonverse stories, I have no idea what they are yet, but I'm going to make them to keep you happy, and the Masonverse will never die because of that. Why do you think I made my logo like a snake? Or why do you think I made the logo a cobra? It's to symbolize that cobras, or Cobra Kai, that never dies, and the Masonverse will never die. The Masonverse will never end. The Masonverse will never end. The Hexalogy will end, but the Masonverse will never end. And every story that I make will be randomized. It won't be continuous, like what Stranger Things did with their 5 seasons, and what The Boys did with their 5 seasons, and what Cobra Kai did with their 6 seasons. No, I'm not doing that. It's going to be completely random, like a sitcom. And yeah, Forever and Ever is going to use lots of characters. It's going to even cross over with Kirk Dust's. It's going to even cross over with Kirk Dust characters. And shout out to Curtis, because the future of Kirk Dust Productions is looking so bright, and I'm even a fan of that, and I'm so hyped for what he's cooking over there. So if you want to see his stuff, please exit my thing and go to him. Watch his stuff, because what he's hyping us up for is going to drive you insane. It's going to drive you insane. It's going to be awesome. And I can't say anything else about it. So watch Curtis's stuff. He's got a few movies planned, like Crimson Indictment, I think, and then he's got Vile Hatred, and then he's turning The Marvelous Man into a feature-length film, which what he showed me was an opening scene for. So that's what I could give. That's what I could spill the beans for you about Kurt and what he's doing as an awesome filmmaker, because that's his passion. And since I want to be a teacher, I will write forever and ever for you, and I will write happily ever after for you, and that will end my hexalogy. And then for you, if you're the general audience, if you're listening, if you don't want to continue, and if you don't want to go back and read my prequels, Anton can just be everything for you. It starts a fresh start, and it finishes like you don't have to continue. It's that simple, since it's the only movie. That's why I felt like the need to do that, but I can't believe I did that. I mean, I'm just a kid, and I don't know if anybody else could possibly do that, but yeah, I put a lot of time and effort to think of it that way. For 3 years, actually, I just thought of it being a hexalogy, six stories instead of just some messy stuff, quality over quantity. It's going to be 6 stories that'll end the hexalogy, and then you got random Masonverse short films after for the rest of my life. So I'm not going anywhere. The Masonverse will never die, and neither will Cobra Kai, even though that ended a year and a half ago. And the boys' finale was so peak, and yeah, it was so good. It was so good. And yeah, thank you for listening, fans. I will definitely will be posting more. Anton Part 2, we're almost done with production. We have about more than a month to film left, and then we are good to go for that November 20th release date. Shout out to you, Brett. If you're listening, Brett, your birthday is going to have a peak day. November 20th it is. All right, fans, thank you for listening to me. I'm going to stop talking now because I talk way too much. So, happy 4th of July, and have a great rest of your summer, fans. I'm always thinking about you guys, and yeah, peace out.